Welcome back to the Boyers YouTube channel. Out here today on my trusty 2020 KTM 1290R, and today we're talking tires. I'm pretty excited for today's video. I got a set of tires that are Chris Birch's favorite, a more aggressive tire, and I'm really excited to put it through the paces to see what I can do on this 1290 and maybe make it feel a little bit more like a dirt bike, where prior I was a little uncomfortable. So a big shout out to ADV Moto Magazine for the tires. Really excited to give them a try. And if you have not heard of ADV Moto Magazine, I am quite shocked, but I'll throw all their social medias up here on the screen. One thing, I'm a bit old school, I guess, but I love that they still send out a printed magazine. There's just something about it, being able to sit down and read that. They still have the digital version and some great content on Instagram and YouTube as well. So I'm just working my way over to Two Wheeled Rider headquarters, where Mario will help throw on the tires, and then we're going to put them through the paces, eventually ending up at Boyer Farm and really giving it a great off-road test. So excited to see how these tires do. And so let's go ahead and fast forward to Two Wheeled Rider headquarters. Alright, so made it here to Two Wheeled Rider headquarters, grab the tires. So the tires are the E12 and E13 Mitas Rally Star. So super pumped to get these on a much more aggressive tread than what I'm used to. So it'll be cool to see how they perform on the road, on gravel, and then get them into their natural terrain on some off-road at Boyer Farm. So big shout out to Mario from Two Wheeled Rider, my master mechanic here. We're getting the old tires off, and then we'll get these new tires on. So we got the E13 here for the front. Real nice tread. More like a dirt bike tire. We got the Rally Star rear, E12. Got some pretty meaty treads there. So just finished up there at Two Wheeled Rider headquarters. Got the tires mounted. Used the Nomar tire changer, and Mario got these things on a breeze. The front even seated right on the bead with we could have blown on the valve stem and got them on there. So super easy mounting. So that's definitely the first positive. And now we're gonna jump into a good mix all the way to the farm. So we're gonna start here on some asphalt. Then we'll get into some gravel, and then ending at the farm with some more technical off-road riding. So far, you know, in this asphalt section, really not much road noise. I was pretty surprised. I could feel an immediate difference when I got out onto the pavement, just wanting to move a little bit. But that's, you know, part of it's kind of scrubbing them in as well. And I can already feel them gripping a lot better on the asphalt. So the rear pressure is about 36, the front 28. Wanted to keep the pressure up a little bit as I'm on the road, and then I'll drop it down once I get out to the farm and start fully being off-road and getting over some rocks and some more technical trail. So the braking feels solid and planted on the asphalt, coming to a pretty quick stop. No kind of sliding there. Grips up nice. Slipped the clutch a little bit. Front end came right up. So definitely getting some traction on the asphalt. I know the big question will be, though, you know, how long they'll last. And obviously I'll put them through the paces. I think Mario's going to throw them on his 990 and run the paces. We took a tire depth pre-riding and mounting them. So we'll see after putting several hundred miles on what the depth is, and can kind of do the calculation on how long they'll last. I know that's always the big question mark when you get the knobbies. They're awesome when you first get them, but how long do they last? Definitely happy with them. Surpassed my expectations of how they'd hook up with, you know, how they look with the extra knobbies. I don't feel them really rolling in the turns, and I feel like I'm getting pretty good grip now that they're scrubbed in. So we'll jump into the gravel and see how they perform there. Alright, now we're on to some good stuff. Fun gravel roads for the next test. So I have an immediate confidence in the braking and the turning just after a few short turns and straightaways in the gravel. You can just tell they got excellent grip up front. The front feels super planted around these turns. And then out of the exiting the turns, the rear just hooks up. I have traction control off. So obviously with all this power, if you crack fully into it, you know, the rear is going to break loose regardless when you're on loose gravel. But one thing I really like about it is the front seems to stay super planted. I feel like I can attack into the corners a little more aggressively and trust my braking and trust the grip of the tire on the loose gravel. But when you come out of these corners, and as long as you're, you know, a nice even throttle, the rear grips perfectly. Got some wet rocks here. No slipping or sliding there. I wanted to squeeze a higher speed test in here. The road noise still sounds good on the tires. It's closing in on like 80 miles an hour. You can feel them move a little bit more than the stock tires, but nothing hateful. Like, are you gonna really want to knock out hundreds of miles on the pavement on these? No, one is probably going to eat them up, and two, you know, that's not what they're really made for. But they do the job for the transfer sections of pavement, and they're not hateful around the corners on the backcountry roads. So just getting up here to the farm, I'm going to unload some bags, get off some gear, then go give this thing a real test. We got a bunch of rain, so should be some good dirt, a little slippery. Good test for these tires. We got a ton of rain out here, so the course is definitely slippery. Definitely feel like I'd be sliding a lot more if it wasn't for having these knobbies. But you can definitely tell they're still not gripping up tremendously well with the high tire pressure. I mean, it's gripping up pretty good though for how slick it is. I think I'd find myself on my butt if it wasn't for the grip, but we're going to go ahead back, let out some tire pressure, and see what we can do next time around. Here, I let out of the tires. I got my low pressure tire warning. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's already hooking up way better. That made a world of a difference. But let's face it, you still got a lot of power going to that rear wheel, and skill makes a big difference. So you really still got to control the throttle. The front definitely is sticking up way better, which is great. And then the rear, just, you know, when it's wet and slippery, it's going to slide. It's just, there's no magic button or magic tire that's going to stop that. There's just practice and skill. But you can tell a huge difference in having these tires, especially over the stock ones. You can get into it even in this wet, slippery stuff. And the GoPro might not be doing it justice, but this was from our charity event. It's got powder on top, and then it rained. Way more comfortable, way more out of breath. When I've done that loop prior, you get out of breath pretty easily trying to throw this pig around because it's slipping, it's sliding, you're working it, you're overworking it. And it's pretty cool being able to cruise with a lot more confidence off-road. Let's take her up to the top of the mountain, see how she does. The grip is insane. Oh yeah, riding around and getting some. This is opening up a whole new door of possibilities with this bike. I'm up here solo, or I'd take this thing right over to the A-hill and give it a go. It's like immediate confidence. Alright, so I just came back from my camera, but this is the section that I just rode through. You can see where I was on the gas, and the tire tracks are just dead nuts straight. I never thought I'd be bringing my 1290 back here on the AB loop, but came through here, over these roots. You can just see the whole way. Rear end just tracking. No swirly. Over these rocks. It's amazing. Jump on the B loop here. Alright, I'm sold. Holy cow, I never thought I'd try that on this bike. Now I know that A-loop one day is possible. Boy, was that fun. So I want to give another big shout out to Adventure Motorcycle Magazine for allowing me to test out those tires. They really had high expectations going in, just being able to see what Chris Birch did. And while I wasn't able to do all the things that he can do, definitely still takes a lot of skill. I was able to go way beyond the comfortable zone that I was in with my bike. I was able to take it on farther pieces of the farm. I was able to push more on the gravel. So definitely overall, I felt like it made me a better rider, a safer rider, and opened up new doors of possibilities for my KTM 1290. It's definitely going to be a tire that I would like to use in the future. So some of the pros of the tire: great grip in the gravel, excellent grip once you took it off-road on the farm and were riding around there. Absolutely loved it. I think some of the cons are, I believe it only comes in the sizes for a 21 and an 18, so you're very limited on the sizes. I'll go ahead and put the MSRP up on the screen as well so you can see the price. And I think that's the biggest challenge. I even had trouble finding the pricing, and I don't think all dealerships are going to be set up with Mitas. So you may have some trouble finding the tires, but if you can get a hold of them, it is well worth it, especially if you're going to take your adventure bike off-road and explore new possibilities. So really appreciate everyone that tuned in. Please make sure to check out Adventure Motorcycle Magazine. I'll link their website below. And once again, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you think about hitting that subscribe button, and I'll catch you all next time.